If you're constantly tired, even when you're getting enough sleep, eating well, and doing everything right, this video is for you. Because the truth is, your exhaustion isn't just about sleep. The real reason you're exhausted goes far deeper, and fixing it has nothing to do with getting 8 hours of sleep. You're tired because your energy is leaking, mentally and emotionally, into places you don't even realize. I'm Simon Alexander Ong, a speaker, coach, and the author of Energize. I've spent the past decade working with those who look high performing on the outside, but secretly feel like they're running on empty. And I've discovered this: the root cause of tiredness isn't always physical. It's personal, internal, and often invisible. In this video, I'm going to unpack the real reasons why you're always tired. We'll go far beyond sleep and nutrition and into the psychology, emotion, and energy architecture of your daily life. I'll also share practices to restore your energy, from micro breaks to boundary setting, and the mindset shift that changed everything for my clients. Part 1. More sleep isn't always the answer. Yes, sleep is important. So is hydration, nutrition, and sunlight. But this video isn't about that, because you already know that. You've probably already seen the YouTube videos, scrolled past the posts on social media, read the articles, and listened to the podcasts on this. And yet, you're still tired and feel completely drained. You can go bed earlier. You can sleep 8 hours. You can drink your water, eat clean, and cut out caffeine. You can stretch, journal, and still be utterly exhausted by lunchtime, like you're dragging your body through the hours of the day. And this is because your tiredness isn't just physical, it's emotional and mental. A few months ago, I was speaking with a new client, a high performer working at a top-tier company. He said, "Simon, I've optimized everything, my routines, my diet, my supplements, my schedule, and I still wake up with this crushing fatigue. It's like I'm sleepwalking through my own life." His words stuck because it's what so many people are experiencing. Not the tiredness of a bad night's sleep, but the tiredness of living a life that isn't theirs. The first thing we blame when we feel tired is sleep. And yes, sleep matters a lot. It's foundational, but it's only one part of the picture. If you think of energy like a bank account, sleep is just one deposit. The rest, it comes from alignment, clarity, and connection. And when those things are missing, no amount of sleep can compensate. A lot of us treat exhaustion as a surface level problem, when actually it's a signal from deep within. If you've ever woken up and still felt heavy, anxious, and like your spark was missing, even after a full night's rest, you know what I mean. There's a kind of tired that isn't about rest. It's about resistance. Resistance to your life, to the way you're living, to the masks you wear, to the parts of yourself you've buried to meet the expectations of others. And that resistance, that's the real weight. So many of us are walking around with an invisible load on our back, not because of what we're doing, but because of what we're holding back. Think of it this way: you don't just need to rest your body, you need to release your burdens. You cannot self-optimize your way out of misalignment. No habit stack or morning routine will override a life lived out of integrity with your truth. And this is where it gets uncomfortable, because it forces us to reflect on the life we are currently living. Are you living your life or someone else's version of it? That kind of internal conflict, the difference between how you feel and how you pretend to feel, is the real reason so many people are exhausted today. So instead of asking, "Did I get enough sleep?" try these. What am I actually tired of? Where am I out of alignment with the life I truly want to live? And what part of me have I silenced just to keep up? Because sometimes the most restful thing you can do isn't to close your eyes, but to open your awareness and reflect on what that voice inside is whispering to you beneath the tiredness. Because beneath your exhaustion is often a truth you've been afraid to face, that something has to change. And deep down, you already know what it is. Part 2, the 4 hidden energy drains. We've talked about how more sleep isn't always the answer. So the next question is, what is draining your energy? Because tiredness isn't just about what you're not doing, it's also about what's quietly stealing your energy every day, often without your awareness. The first is mental fatigue. You wake up, and within the first 5 minutes, you're making decisions. What to wear, what to eat, whether to answer that message now or later, what headline to believe, what post to like, and what to feel about everything you just saw. Each of these drains your mental battery. Your brain hasn't even had time to warm up, and it's already sprinting. We're living in a world of constant inputs with no time for integration. Truth is, your brain is running on overload. Even professional chess players who just sit and think can burn up to 6,000 calories a day during tournaments just by thinking and strategizing. That's the cost of deep mental exertion. Now imagine doing that without rest, boundaries, or focus. That's how most of us live. We scroll to relax, not realizing that the feed isn't passive. It's stimulation. It's decision fatigue in disguise. We live in an age of infinite options, but limited attention. And every option comes with a cost. Every decision, no matter how small, pulls from the same mental reserve. And for most people, that reserve is already running low by mid-morning. It's why people say things like, I haven't even done much today, but I already feel exhausted. It's not your body, it's your brain. Overloaded, overstimulated, and over-engaged. We're surrounded by noise. News, ads, feeds, and notifications. Everywhere we turn, something is asking for our focus, opinion, and reaction. And we simply weren't built for that kind of bandwidth. 100 years ago, we took in as much information in a month as we now do in a single day. But here's how you can fix this and reduce mental fatigue. You can reduce decision clutter by planning your meals ahead of time, picking outfits for the day the night before, and being clear about your priorities for the day ahead of time. A simple question like, how will I know that today will have been a productive day when I get to the end of it, can help. You can set boundaries around screen time, especially in the first hour after waking and the last hour before sleep. You can also limit digital clutter by silencing non-urgent notifications and unsubscribing from things you no longer need. You can take micro breaks by giving your brain 5 to 10 minutes of nothing every 90 minutes. The goal is not to eliminate all decisions. It's to reduce the unnecessary ones so your energy goes where it matters most. The second hidden energy drain is emotional exhaustion. If mental fatigue is about what you're processing, emotional exhaustion is about what you're carrying. You know that feeling where everything, even small things, start to feel overwhelming. Like replying to a text feels too hard. Like taking the trash out is suddenly a monumental task. That's not laziness. That's emotional bandwidth depletion. And it often happens when you've been pretending for too long. Pretending to be okay, to be strong, that things don't bother you, and that you're not hurting when you really are. So many of us are experts at bottling it up. We're praised for our strength, our resilience, and our ability to push through. But resilience isn't the same as suppression, and strength isn't silence. Most of us are carrying emotions we've never made space for. Grief, frustration, guilt, resentment. We suppress them because we're busy or because we don't feel safe to express them. But these emotions don't disappear. They go underground, and over time, they become heavy. It's like running your life with background apps open. One for people pleasing, one for pretending, one for past wounds. Each one draining you slowly. But here's how you can fix this and release some of this emotional pressure. You can let something out by journaling, venting, crying, talking, or moving your body. You can audit your life. Who and what drains me? Who and what fuels me? And then adjust accordingly. You can set firmer boundaries. Saying no to others is sometimes saying yes to yourself, and you can unfollow negativity. Energy is infectious, so make sure you are surrounded with energy that is more positive than it is negative. The third hidden energy drain is a lack of purpose. This one often goes unnoticed because it doesn't feel loud. It feels like numbness. There's a deep exhaustion that doesn't come from doing too much. It comes from doing too little of what makes you feel alive. When you live on autopilot, same routine, same conversations, and same obligations, your soul begins to flatline. You don't notice it all at first, but over time, joy becomes rare. Curiosity fades and you start to feel like you're just, existing. It's when the days start to blur, when your calendar fills up but your heart stays empty, when you check off tasks but don't feel anything as you do them. You're not in a crisis, but you're not excited either. This is what I call existential exhaustion. The tiredness that comes from a life that no longer inspires you. You can be doing all the right things. Stable job, decent income, responsibilities handled, and still feel like something vital is missing. Because as humans, we aren't built to just survive. We're built to create and to contribute. And when we lack a sense of direction, or worse, when we're working towards a future we don't even want, our soul shouts at us to wake up. A client of mine once said, "I realized I was climbing a ladder, only to find it was leaning against the wrong wall." That was his wake-up call. And while that realization was hard, it was also liberating. So here's a question for you. When was the last time you felt completely lit up by something? Sometimes you need to shake up your routine. New places, new routes, and new activities. Sometimes you need to try something that has nothing to do with achievement. And sometimes you need to reconnect with curiosity, to have the courage to explore the things you are most interested in right now. Because there are often clues to our purpose in the things we are naturally drawn to. The fourth hidden energy drain is nervous system overload. The final and perhaps most underestimated energy leak is this. You are living in constant survival mode. Even when you're not doing anything, your body doesn't feel safe enough to relax. Your breath is shallow. Your shoulders are tense and your mind keeps scanning for what could go wrong. You're always waiting for the next email, the next alert, or the next bad thing. And this creates a state of chronic low-grade stress, which is exhausting. Our ancestors had bursts of stress. A predator, a storm, an attack. Modern life? Emails, deadlines, notifications, and even social media drama. This is what eventually leads to burnout. Not just too much work, but too little restoration. So what can we do? Well, you can spend more time in nature with no agenda. Even a 20-minute walk outside can regulate your cortisol. In Japan, they call it Shinrin-yoku, which means forest bathing. It's not about exercise or goals, but about restoring your relationship to the present moment. You can also focus on breathing exercises to help you breathe more deeply. And you can create space in your schedule for doing nothing and unplugging from screens, devices, and information overload. Part 3. The shift that changes everything. Everything we've talked about so far, mental fatigue, emotional exhaustion, nervous system overload, a lack of purpose, it all points back to one fundamental truth. You're not just tired, you're misaligned. Tiredness isn't your enemy, it's your messenger. We've been taught to treat tiredness like a scheduling issue and keep trying to manage energy like it's a maths equation. Get more sleep, take more breaks, drink more water, block more time. Optimize, optimize, optimize. But what if the root cause of your tiredness isn't in your calendar, but in your choices, in your identity, in how you've been taught to value yourself? Truth is, your energy isn't just drained by what you do. It's drained by who you think you have to be. When you live a life of obligation instead of intention, when you move through the day reacting instead of choosing, you leak energy in every direction. Your energy leaks when you live by default instead of design, when you consume instead of create, and when you live someone else's definition of success. And this is the shift from trying to manage your tiredness to understanding whether you're living a life true to yourself. We're conditioned to believe that output is the goal. Do more, be more, achieve more. But here's the irony. We don't burn out from doing too much. We burn out from doing too little of what lights us up. You don't need more discipline. You need more connection. Connection to your values, to your body, and your truth. As I often say, the most energized people aren't always the most rested. They're the most aligned and connected to their purpose. And that's the shift. From how do I get more done to what's worth doing with the energy I have. From how do I fix my tiredness to where is my life asking me to listen more deeply. If something drains you consistently, that's a sign. If something excites you, that's a sign too. Energy is your body's way of telling the truth before your brain is ready to admit it. That job that leaves you dreading Mondays, that relationship that feels heavy more than it feels safe, that habit you can't break but never feels good, they're all sending you signals. Your body knows before you do. And that's why alignment is key. You don't owe anyone access to you just because they expect it. You don't have to say yes to things that cost you your mental health. You don't have to keep proving your worth by how exhausted you are. You deserve to wake up energized, to rest without guilt, to live a life true to yourself. So what if today was the beginning of that shift? What if today you let energy, not ego or obligation, be your guide? Because when you do live life according to your definition of success, you stop chasing life and start receiving it. The ability to wake up energized, excited, clear, and grounded is the rarest wealth of all. If you've made it this far, I want to leave you with this. You're tired because you've been living in ways that cost you your energy and don't return it. But that can change from today. And it starts by listening to the quiet wisdom inside you. If you enjoyed this video, I recommend watching this one next. Until next time, here's to living life with more energy, joy, and fulfillment.